What's up, Canada? Great Northern Discussions here. I'm your host, Kevin Tucker, and we're back in the studio with another powerhouse, former Conservative MP Peterborough-Kawartha, Michelle Ferreri. And you're not going to want to miss this episode. We get into all kinds of good stuff, from Alberta Separation to the issues with MAID in Canada, what happened in the federal election, and even we're going to dive into the Edmonton Oilers Cup run. Beauty. Stick around, folks. It's a doozy. And as always, special thanks to my employer, my sponsor, Lone Star Directional Drilling. All right. Well, hey, happy to have you, Michelle. Was a fan, of course. I say was because you find yourself, like you say, on the outside. So how you handling the loss personally?
Yeah, listen, I think it's kind of interesting. It's a very funny thing, maybe because of what I've done in my life and how I see the world. But titles have never really defined who I am. They're just not something I get super wrapped up in. So it's like, for me, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not a member of parliament. Okay, that's fine. But I still have a voice. I still am Michelle, and I'm still the same person. It was... I've had a lot of no's in my life. Like I've had a lot of rejection because I was an entrepreneur. And so like I also did acting and I did all those kinds of things. And so I got really used to no. I got really used to people saying no. And then I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just try a different way. So when this happened and I didn't get reelected, it was like, okay, what are we doing now?
Tough loss.
And I knew probably about... shortly in, I was in trouble.
You did?
And I knew that it wasn't me. I knew it was way, way bigger than me. I didn't have a strong competition. What I had was a bigger brand, and I was a little microcosm of the fight against Mark Carney.
So true.
And I was the only candidate in all of Canada with a third party registered specifically against me, called No More Ferreri. I was the only one in Canada.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Like who was that? Who was that? Who funded it?
They did, privately.
Just
just decided on their own that they hated me. And that was it. That was it. Like,
what do you think drove the hate? What was the...
I spent a lot of time in the beginning of because it started at the minute I became the candidate in my town.
Yeah.
And Peterborough is a liberal, it's a bellwether riding, right? So it's, the outside of it is rural, primarily Conservative, and then the city center is liberal, sort of NDP, more left-leaning.
Yeah.
But the numbers tell the story. So in 2021... the NDP got 19% of the vote.
Correct. I was looking.
In 2025, they got 3%. And I lost by 10,000 votes.
Yeah.
And the NDP lost by 12,000.
Yes.
So it was strategic voting that they did to get rid of me. It was a vote Michelle out. It wasn't a vote the person who won in thing. It was a get rid of Michelle. A get rid of Michelle thing.
So you think, so you've got a third party crew coming at you. But like you said, even out of the gate. So we were talking earlier about the machine, so to speak, the media, the liberal machine, the newspapers, all the outlets. So you feel like right out of the gate, even before, obviously, while you were running, did you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
You felt it while you were running?
Because
that was COVID.
Yeah, so 2021 was just coming out of COVID. But so I had done so much community work. I'm born and raised in Peterborough. I'd spent so much time doing so many things in my community, a lot of arts. Like I was in theater. I did all of this kind of stuff. I worked in the media. I interviewed all kinds of political people. Yeah. But I never publicly said where I sat
left
as a
or
party.
right.
I never said anything. So then when I came out as the Conservative candidate, it was like, whoosh, all these people that I thought were my friends instantly didn't like me. And I was like, what's going on?
What is this?
Like, I think I was naive to how emboldened people were in their political affiliations. Like, it's very much almost like religious. Like, it's like, oh, you're conservative, you're bad. I don't actually care who you are as a person. I hate conservatives. Oh, you're liberal, you're bad. I hate liberals.
Yeah.
And so I faced that. And I remember spending all this time when I first was it, and I would try to go back and forth with people online to have dialogue.
Yeah. It's endless.
And I was like, okay, this is actually just sucking my time. And I remember having this conversation with Pierre, because Pierre was so, he just go forward. Like when you watch Pierre, he just goes forward. He doesn't sort of listen to the noise around him. And I would always try to be like, well, why do you think like that? Like, why do you think I'm bad? Like, why do you think what I'm saying is wrong? Like, why? And it's like, no, Michelle, that just takes up your time. Like, you can't engage with people.
Right.
And that was hard for me because I wanted dialogue. I wanted to have it, but there was no listening. So and then I tried a couple times with some of my like extreme haters, which actually, quite frankly, turned into almost like obsessive. Like, I have people that had to be flagged by the RCMP. It was like
stalking
type. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? What is this? And then I realized that their identity became tied to me in a negative, like, oh, like it was just this weird psychology thing that I was like, this is way bigger than me. Like, this isn't about me. It's like there's something going on with people that is bigger than I am. And I really saw it when I was at the door.
Yes.
Because if you were to look at how people treat me online, and you'd be like, holy cow, like, people are really, I don't know how PG friendly this podcast is.
Oh, no, you let her, we say whatever the fuck we want in here.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm in good hands. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I would be like if you were to like see some of the stuff people say to me online, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And never did it happen to my face. Never.
Huh. Yeah, it's this whole new world that has been created around us, that there's some good from social, obviously getting messaging out and driving what what you stand for, your platform or whatever that is. But then there's this whole cesspool side that has just brought the worst out in people.
And it's a bizarre thing, because exactly what you're saying about that is what they say about me. So it creates like, they call me this rage farmer and this cesspool of hate. And I'm like, what? I don't get it, because all you're doing is saying the facts. And so it was a very like, they screw with your mind, right? It's like classic gaslighting. And I knew it when I started sitting in the House of Commons, because you would sit there. And I remember like the first time I saw Justin Trudeau and the first time I sat in there as a member of Parliament, I was like, this is so weird. And they would stand up and the Liberals would say, everything is great. Everything is so good. Everybody is doing great. We are amazing. And I remember, because my background is communications, I'm like, why wouldn't you just stand up and be like, yeah, you know what? We're doing our best. It's not, things aren't great right now.
Yeah.
We're going to have to obviously sort of change what we're doing. Clearly, Canada's in a very difficult time, but they wouldn't, like, rule number one of politics, don't admit any weakness. Like, it was brutal to me. And then that bled into the social media sphere of like, it was like this gaslighting.
Oh yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this whole, Justin Trudeau is obviously a massive part to blame, and we don't need to go back to him because he's long gone, but just
You're welcome, by the way.
Thanks for bringing him up. Jeez.
No, I mean, you're welcome for getting rid of him. No.
Oh, yeah. Yes, well, you did. Now I'm thinking about when I had John Barlow in here, and they obviously colleague, friend of yours.
Yeah,
and
he's an incredible human.
Incredible human. Love the guy. We stay in touch. I do charity attorneys with him and all that stuff. But someone reminded me of what I said in here with John. And I said about Trudeau, we want him to stay because we need him to lose, and we want him to face the crowd, face the music, and lose. And then I said, maybe we'd be in more trouble if he resigned and they propped somebody else up. But at the time, it just seemed so. He was such a narcissist that there's no way in fucking hell that guy would have resigned, and he resigned. And then it was like, oh,
well, he resigned because we were too effective at our job.
You were so effective.
We were too effective, it's It's funny. I ran into this guy last night. I was at the Oilers game last night, like, by the way.
Yeah, we
go
probably
Oilers,
should have
go.
pointed it out. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
And it was incredible. Oh my gosh. And I was leaving and this guy's like, is that Michelle Ferreri? And I was like, yeah, buddy, it's me. And he's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, no, really, man, it's me.
No, it's me.
And he goes,
Do some rage farming.
and he's like, holy shit, man, I follow you. Like, you're great, blah, 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 blah. And he was really nice. He was great. He'd had a few drinks. So he was living on them. And they won. It was an amazing game.
Yeah, great tell.
And he said something to me that really resonated. And I think it kind of like it's the bird's eye view of all of this, Kevin, is that he said, you know, we just aren't respected in Alberta. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I left that Oilers game and I watched that arena. I got little goosebumps on it because it's like the fans, the energy, that team, McDavid's leadership, who they are on the ice, there's this synergy, there's this trust, there's this confidence that you don't see in a team very often. And it's transferred to the fans and the fans transfer it to the players. And it's this incredible thing. And the refs in the game were pretty shitty.
Yeah, they were.
And you can tell that the system is breathing down the ref's neck to say, we don't want a Canadian team to win this cup. Okay.
It sure looked that way.
Like we could go down another rabbit hole of Bettman, but we're not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this story because I think it falls all into place of what we've seen online and in Canada. And so he says, you know, we just feel so disrespected here in Alberta. And I said, because you're strong. You're strong. And there's this, and I feel this way personally because when you're strong and the liberal ideology, you know, Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney, there is an ideology, and you just have to look at policy. We can debate this all you want.
No debate.
But there is an intention to make you dependent. And there's a lot of reasoning behind that. Like if you want to go into philosophical reasoning of why.
Yeah.
So if you're strong, what do we want to do to you?
Yeah, beat you down.
Break you down.
Beat you down. Yeah.
Break you down. And, you know, all you have to do here in Alberta is drive down Highway 2 for 45 minutes to see the oil, to see the gas, to see your 50-50 numbers. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, you
the $7
texted
million
me.
of 50-50 at the Oilers game. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, they want to get that money.
And there's a strength and an independence to Alberta that shouldn't be shit on. It should be encouraged and it should be celebrated. And I think, you know, you take and you take and you take, and now you have extreme tension in this country because of it. And that's why I really, really hope the Oilers win, because I think that win will be the political messaging that the country needs as well.
Yeah, well said. I never thought of it that way. I didn't. I mean, I want them to win. Some people here might shit on me, but I didn't. I mean, I'm a transplant here, so I love Calgary, the Flames, but I'm okay cheering the Oilers on. I've got diehards that would just never.
Even if it was Calgary, I would say the same.
Right.
Because it's an Alberta team.
Same area.
But the Oilers are a different can of worms.
Well, it's a different can of worms. It's like it's a living organism, right, out there, and I just love it. They're incredible. But
I think also what I noticed is very few people actually love the city of Edmonton. What they've done is but the one thing that everybody in Edmonton comes together on is the Oilers.
It's hockey, yeah.
It's the Oilers.
Sure.
And so like the stadium is built around the city, the love, you know, maybe we don't like our city, but we got this hockey team.
Well, and they got the best arena in the city or in the league. Sorry, it's an incredible arena. Yeah. And then, you know, Mark Carney went on the ice with them. I almost smashed a stick. Like I was like, what are you doing? Now, apparently he's from there. So, but sure doesn't care to represent the Oilers. I don't know. I would imagine everybody there wants nothing to do with being associated with Mark Carney.
And I think, you know, if we go even further, Kevin, the Oilers, and that's why I wore the shirt today, because right now, again, the next biggest issue of our time is oil and gas.
Well, it is, and we're happy. Like out here, we're happy that it's now on people's dinner table conversations. We're happy with that. We didn't want that to come about this way, but now that people are talking about it, I feel like, you know, Ontario kind of came to the table a little more with their voting. I was worried about the Atlantic, and they went the way I thought that they would. But we are happy that, they're discussing it now, oil and gas. They really need to understand the importance, because you see it out here. When you see lots of those big trucks ripping around, and you see more of them than normal and real nice ones, the people who maybe lean the other way, which there aren't many out here, would say, God, I hate you fucking guys. You're douchebags. They are literally the backbone of the country, I'd say. And when I see them and the people who understand it, when you see more of those trucks rolling around, it's like, things are good. Good things are coming my way.
Yep.
And then all the other industries prosper from that. And so when we push for pipelines here, it's not because we want more for our pockets. We're doing good. We're fine. We're insulated. Like, that's okay. But maybe we'll just stop giving you your equalization if you don't want to reap the rewards
when
as
you're
a country.
not respected,
Yeah.
what is the incentive to show up? And, I think that's the feeling when you have a prime minister right now who won't even say the words oil, gas, or pipeline.
He will not.
You have a problem.
Yeah.
And, I think and I hope, listen, I'm a big believer in you don't know what you don't know, right? So a lot of these people on the left or who are traditionally like, like I just love, we were talking about this off air, like Taylor Sheridan nailed it in Yellowstone and then in Landman. Right?
Yeah.
When he did that whole sequence with the one girl, Summer, and she was the environmentalist, and Kevin Costner's John Dutton's character, took her out and is like, are you?
Yeah, do you really understand how this works?
Clearly you don't. And and you can see that again with a lot of the Middle Eastern turmoil too, right? So these pro-Palestine protesters, those very people, if they went over into Gaza who are gay or lesbian, they would be killed.
They would be killed.
Yeah, and it's like it's this weird dynamic of hanging on to belonging to some group. It's like, oh, I'm an environmentalist. I've never met somebody more environmentally astute than an Albertan.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And
it's
it's like it is your lifeline. It is your bloodline. And so I think people don't know what they don't know. And it's like, oh, did you want social services? Did you want healthcare? Did you want education?
Yeah.
Did you want all of these things that you think just fall from the sky?
Yeah.
Where do you think the money comes from?
Yeah, but they don't want to tell them where it comes from. It's strange. And the other side is the fact that they believe what they're being fed. You mentioned him, not purposely not saying oil and gas.
He doesn't.
And
he
not
won't say it.
And the mixed messaging right now too, where he has said about like C69 and just yesterday on CBC, so not repealing C69, they're going to fast track.
Tell everybody what C69 is in your. I was talking about this on the way here.
Sure. We talk about it lots here, and I've read the entire bill. There'll be still C69, called slang version, the No Pipelines bill. Right. But really, it's a super onerous bill that it doesn't allow you. There are so many hurdles to get to the approval process that it doesn't allow you to get to the approval process. And there's an entire section, and I've said it several times on other shows, there's a whole section on gender. But what are we talking about gender for? It's just about an approved project. Put shovels in the ground, build the shit. Why are we talking about gender for real? And I remember Trudeau's explanation was...
do you not know how oil and gas identifies?
Yeah, it's he, she, they, non-binary.
What?
But yeah, it was about, he said, well, we got to look after the town and the small towns. And if all these men come in there, how does this affect the women? And it's
I actually did do a study on that in status of women on resource extraction and the impact of man camps. I should send it to you.
You should.
And, I think they actually, again, back to Taylor Sheridan and Landman, he actually addressed some of this too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fine. Like, let's have those conversations, but that has nothing to do with...
approving
what?
A major project. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It just got so far over to the left this last while, and now they have their great their great hope.
This is it, though. I'm telling you, know this, Kevin. You guys
Yeah.
have known this forever. And
Yeah.
I remember when I was knocking on the door and everybody was like, "Oh, Trump, 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 Trump," right? That's what dominated the election. And
Yeah.
I said, "Do you want to know what the silver lining of Donald Trump is?" And everybody would look at me like I have three heads. And I was like, I believe there's a silver lining to anything.
Sure.
Whatever there is,
Yeah.
there's a silver lining. And I said, Donald Trump has put the pressure on us, on the pressure on our neck, to do what we should have done 40 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
let's have an honest conversation.
Right.
And I said, so this is it. So we have everything the world needs. You know, Japan, Germany came to us for LNG.
Yep. Yep.
And what did Trudeau say?
No business case. Yep. No business case. It's absolutely
And tell me
appalling.
who's just flourishing right now because of LNG, right? All of these places other than Canada. And so when I would have this conversation with people at the door, they would say, yeah, you're right. We do have everything. Yeah, we have. And I'm like, do you know what the Ring of Fire is? I couldn't believe
Did
the
they
amount.
know?
A
They
lot
don't
of
know.
a lot of young people had no idea what the Ring of Fire in Ontario was. You know, the largest mineral deposit in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Valued at $1 trillion, and it's just sitting there. Like
Yeah.
you don't even have a highway to get to it. And so you have bills, and this is where I get so frustrated, Kevin, because people say, well, this is a nonpartisan issue. This is if one more person tells me something's nonpartisan, I'm like, that's just naivety, because every single thing is partisan, because every single policy comes from a party, and a party is driven by partisanship. And that is how it works. Your justice issues, your crime issues, all of these things are 1,000% partisan because they are policy driven, and policy is driven by ideology, which is driven by the person. So you got to pick a side. I know it's hard, and Canadians by nature are like, oh, we do need to come together, but you also can't live in this unicorn and rainbows land that everything is fine and we're all going to get along and everybody's going to have what they want and everybody's going to have everything. That's not real life. It's not fair.
Yeah, and we're never going to be fully united. I mean, even when we think
That's
maybe
the beauty of it.
I celebrate it, and that's why this referendum separation issue out here, which I am for, the referendum. I'm for it because it's like, you know what, we are different. Maybe it's time
Imagine we were all the
to
same.
cut the cord. You know, I'm okay at this point. I want the referendum to go through for the purpose of putting the country on notice. Not like, hey, or we're leaving, but like talk about it. So you guys can talk about why we're pissed.
Do you know what a threat and pressure does? Mm-hmm. It forces you to either have conversations that you're too afraid to have. It's like a marriage. It's like anything. It's, you know, we need a threat to make us realize what we have or don't have or what we need to do. And sometimes, you know, Canadians, our strength is our weakness. It's always the same. You know, we're pretty easygoing, great people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it does take a threat. There is a silver lining to Donald Trump's irrational approach.
Yeah.
And it is that, holy cow, we actually have what the world wants. Why do you think Trump is so interested in Canada? Let's call it what it is.
I've said it to everybody. This is a play for our oil and to suppress ours so they can take off, and which they have done. They've left us in the dust, and we have more of it. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. He handpicked Carney.
Well, it makes a lot of sense if you start to ask questions. And I think, you know, and I think that's the other problem. It's these are tough things, and I think the biggest lesson I learned, and through the election is many people are not ready for the truth.
You're right. You're right. They're not ready for the truth. And
it's a lot harder.
It is harder. And just as you mentioned that, I'm thinking of obviously follow you and love your stuff, and we talk, and but the MAID.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've made a pretty passionate post, and it's come up recently, and even I had hoped to go there with Jasmine, but we just got yapping so much we missed it.
I'm shocked.
Weird. That girl could talk too. So, you know, it's dangerous when we get in the room with each other. We can miss shit. But MAID, so you made a really passionate post. So what have you uncovered, and what was the controversy after with what MAID is trying to push and in the committee?
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot here. So the committee was created, all-party committee, as a result of legislation that was put forward to extend MAID, which is medical assistance in dying, to people with mental illness. Okay? I am a very passionate advocate about mental health and mental illness and have been my entire life. And to me, this is just complete insanity to give somebody the autonomy and decision-making power when the actual thing that is causing them to feel that way is in fact their brain. It's one big paradox. It's like not, it's inhumane and it's very dangerous. And so obviously lots of other people thought this way too. It wasn't just me. And this committee was formed. I wasn't on that special MAID committee, but all parties were. And so the legislation was supposed to come in 2024 to extend MAID to people with mental illness. But just as I've just said, there is no concrete evidence to prove that you cannot recover from a mental illness.
Right.
Because we don't have enough research. We don't know. This is different than me saying, okay, yeah, you have stage 4 pancreatic cancer and you're going to die in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a totally different can of worms.
Of course. Yep.
This is something that, I have bipolar or I have something and I'm in a really low spot. I go to my doctor and I say, hey, doctor, I want MAID. And they go, okay, pardon?
Yeah, they can't do that.
Like, pardon?
Yeah.
But this is the legislation that was put forward by the Liberals. So we fought it very aggressively. Then they put in what's called like a sunset clause. So they brought it back into the House and we were able to push it further so that it comes back up in 2027.
Yes.
And one of the letters, I'm actually going to be meeting with this girl in person. She reached out to me after I lost the election. She had written to me during my time as member of parliament. She said, Michelle, I can guarantee you with certainty I would not be here if that legislation is in place. And she's like, she deals with
bipolar, manic depression.
Yeah, and her, if you search it up, you can see it. Her name was Kayla. I read it in the House like multiple times because it was this powerful letter. And so there's lobbyists dying with dignity, and a lot of people don't know that they are like lobbying the government to extend this. Like there's a whole bunch of people who believe, because listen, anybody who's watched somebody with mental illness or addiction, because that's part of it as well.
Painful.
It is excruciating, and it's not just excruciating on the person; it's excruciating on
everybody else.
On everybody. And so there's this argument. Well, maybe we should be offering MAID. Because suicide is inevitable for some people with mental illness. And it's like, no, guys, let's pull back and say, why aren't we looking at the research, brain research, blah, 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 blah. So when you have this conversation with people, they're like, that's not true. Number one is the pushback. Then there was this pamphlet that was circulating online because in the committee, people also testified who were pro MAID for people with mental illness that it should be extended to minors and minors with mental illness, minors with all kinds of different problems. And it's like, whoa. It's not in the legislation, but there is a lobbyist that is, and there are people who want it. And the slope is so slippery.
Oh my God.
Right?
It's like an obsession with minors too.
It's really, really bizarre.
Strange voting.
It's a very bizarre thing. And so I think what people have to understand is you don't know what you don't know. We do live in a clickbait society.
Yeah.
We do have to have these hard conversations. But the truth is, sometimes it's very, very uncomfortable. Like there is some very horrific things happening in our backyards that there's a reason people don't want to know. Like it's awful. It's not nice things.
It's too hard to talk about.
It is.
Right.
It's awful. And I saw it, I worked in, my file was families, children, and social development.
Yeah.
And so I saw sometimes the worst of the worst things that you don't want to even begin to imagine. Like I went into a prison, Kevin.
Yeah.
And Tori Stafford was an 8-year-old girl from Ontario.
I remember.
And she was brutally murdered. She was taken from her school, like taken in a very, but in a very, like the cameras, she's walking with this couple who took her.
Yeah, I remember that
case.
Terrible.
I don't know if her dad's listening. I know her dad, and I hate talking about it because I hate bringing it up. But she was 8 years old. She was brutally, brutally murdered. And I met when I was in the Grand Valley Institute in Kitchener. Is that where it was? Kitchener. I did a tour of the prison, and I met the woman. I came face to
You
face
met
with
her?
Well, like, I came face to face
Oh,
with her.
shit.
And the guards are like, Michelle, so there's the murderer. And I don't even like saying their names because I know they love it.
Yep.
And I don't know if people are watching or listening, but I'm a very visual thinker.
Yeah,
there's
me too, yeah.
there's a house, and this is what's called the mother-child program. So for a lot of people, they don't know, there's actually a mother-child program through the federal prison, so that if you were impregnated when you were incarcerated, or you get pregnant when you're in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll let you think about that one for a second.
Lots of that. Yeah.
You have the choice to keep that child till they're 6 years old. And there's a lot of research around this. It's been around for 20 years that the child and the mother will do better. There's all kinds of different things, whatever.
Yes.
There's and so that I don't actually have a problem with the program.
Yes.
But the mother-child program, so the house where the babies live, is right beside convicted child killers. Like they're in an open space like you and I, like it's like a university campus.
Wow.
And I said this in the house because I went to the prison because the prison guards are like, Michelle, nobody listens to us. Nobody's listening to us. There's transgender inmates in there that are identifying as men. They're in there. They're raping the women. And people don't want to have these conversations, Kevin. And so when I said it in the house, the minister called me a liar.
Called you a liar?
Yeah. And I was like, what? And you know, nothing's more powerful. You get a pretty thick skin in this world. But when Tori Stafford's dad messages me to tell me thank you, that's when you know, and they'll tell you, oh, you're what's that word? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
You're using victims to
false
exploiting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? But the point of this long-winded conversation is people don't want to believe it because it's not fun. You know what's fun is puppies and babies, and it's very hard. But like I live by a very big philosophy in my life. Anything mentionable is manageable. And if you don't mention these things, you can't manage these things and you can't change these things.
Yeah.
And the drug crisis and why people are not doing okay, and this social media thing, that this is a bigger addiction to our children than anything else.
Yeah, it's a big one in our house too. We've got a 7-year-old daughter turning 8 next month, and we have a house rule that she's not going to have a phone until 16. We know the fight we have ahead of us, but if we can make it, and her friends and her parents, the parents of the friends, we're kind of all on board. We're going to see if we can not give her a phone, and then her first phone can be a flip phone, and then no social media. That's what we're hoping and pushing for.
I think you're coming into a time when there's going to be a lot more buy-in.
Like a correction.
Because the science is now telling what we're doing to our kids.
Yeah.
My youngest son is the only kid I believe in his school. He's 15 years old. He's in grade 10.
Yeah.
That does not have a cell phone.
He doesn't have a phone?
Media.
Does he bitch about it?
He doesn't want one. I've tried to give him one because it's hard on me. So I can't find him.
Sure. Well, couldn't you give him a...
Won't take it.
Oh, he just will not.
He does not believe in it.
Wow, he's a rare breed.
He is a very
good for
rare
him.
breed. And it's a very interesting social experiment to see him versus my other children. Yeah. And especially my daughter, who's 21, who was sort of that guinea pig generation, who we were all like, oh yeah, everybody has a phone here, take it.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we didn't know.
No, we didn't know. It was just kind of,
And now you see these kids just don't have fun. They're risk adverse. And throw in COVID in the middle of that. And anyway, there's a lot I think we have to do as a society. And I think there's the macro and the big scale, but then I think there's very, very simple things that we can do that will change the trajectory. And I think things like sitting down and eating dinner together.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Back to basics.
Family values.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're very right there. I'm with you. And I feel like most people in the West try to hold on to those values maybe a little harder. I'm not sure. I don't want to divide there, but there's obviously a divide. But I was also thinking kind of what you said regarding kind of the Liberals and how everything is great and not...
Toxic positivity.
It's almost like that's their master craft. Like they just don't admit that things are wrong and we need to get better at this. And it's always things are good when things are not good. Like they have not been good for a really long time.
What's your bar? What's your bar for good? I guess that's also
Right?
like what's your, it's like standard for happiness, standard for success. Where's your standard?
Yeah.
And I think,
That's true.
Justin was classic at this because there is lots of good things about Canada. Like I can easily sit here and have that conversation with you. We're still an amazing country. We still have lots of great things. But, there's this weird leadership that came from Justin of like, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you. And we're so great. And we have created programs that have revolutionized everything and nothing's ever been better.
Yeah.
And that bled into the ministers because leadership does that.
Who are all still there.
Who are all still there. And you think, what, have you been outside? Like I want somebody to put together a compilation of me in the house where I'm like, go outside, go outside, go outside. Like I would just lose my mind because I was like, because you'd sit in there and it was like you were in this vacuum of like, have you guys been outside?
Bunch of Stepford wives, all like oblivious.
Because I'm like, I don't know about you, but like my downtown is unrecognizable.
Yeah, all downtowns are everywhere.
I'm like, I don't know, because every time I talk to somebody, they've never made more money in their life and never had less money. They're stressed out of their minds. They're so stressed about money. These kids are now stressed about money. Everybody's like flailing, but hey, I guess you're fine.
Guess it's good.
I guess everything's great.
Yeah, just keep shouting it. Well, you were good. I mean, I watch a lot of I feel like maybe more people out here follow politics more.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but because probably more so from how we've been treated.
Well,
or
it
the
impacts
perception
you.
of it impacts you. And so more
When something
people,
impacts you, you get involved. Yeah.
And so everybody's kind of involved somehow. And that's kind of what drove me behind the mic on the energy side of things and politics. But you in the House, I used to love watching you in there. I'm very sorry that you're gone. It's a tough loss. I know it's got to be fucking tough to take a loss, but I know you'll land, no problem. Maybe we'll find that out from you. But you were in there. What one were you screaming about? Oh, fuck, it was awesome. You were just raging. Not raging, because that's what they want to call you. It was about the notwithstanding clause.
The Emergencies Act?
The emergencies they were talking about abortion.
Oh, God.
Trying to bring abortion back. Like the classic liberal, when you're getting beat down, they're like, they throw abortion back in
abortion.
there.
We're losing. Abortion.
We're losing. Abortion.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you were yelling back, basically, don't tell me, because it was a man. I don't remember who the guy was.
Mark Garrettson.
Garrettson. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's right.
And he was like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hi, number one, if you're going to lecture me about my uterus, at
Yeah.
least put up a woman.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down, Mark.
This is not going to go well for you.
Yeah, Mark had a job to do. And
Well, that's right.
He was effective at it. And as a result, it's put him where he is, right? He'll never have a minister job. He'll never have anything because he is the antagonistic shrill, basically.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Yeah.
So do you stay in touch with Pierre then, too?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. Obviously, after we both lost our seats.
I still can't even. Like, how is that real that Pierre lost? Like, what a joke.
Well, I think it was the same thing. It was the same.
Same
That's
thing.
why I said to you before about when you're strong, when you're so effective. Like Pierre was so effective. Like when you look back,
Yeah, he was so good.
we went from the carbon tax was the best thing that ever happened since sliced bread. Safe supply was the best thing ever since sliced bread.
Yep.
All of these things, Pierre single-handedly
Dismantled.
dismantled.
Yeah, he did. But
In a matter of months.
in months.
And he was so effective. And, Canadians, and I fall into this trap too, and maybe it's like a woman mom thing where you're like, they're doing their best.
Right.
They're doing their best. They're trying their best. And I remember when I got elected, I'm like, being prime minister is a tough job. Like, that's really hard. You got to, there's no way to make everybody happy. That's hard. Justin's trying hard. And then I sat in the House of Commons with him and I was like, oh my
That was
gosh.
painful. What a painful 10 years.
So there, I said this one quote one time in the House and I believe it. Money and power don't change who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They reveal who you are.
No question.
And if you have bad intentions or you're you've got unresolved issues, or your agenda is power and control.
Yeah.
The people suffer.
Yeah, and we did, and
we are
paying for it. But then you get, now we go to Mark Carney, who, I mean, I'm nervous. I've said it many times. I'm trying to keep the hope because you have to. But I know where he's going. He hasn't mentioned oil and gas. He hasn't mentioned, I know where this is headed. But when he said about the carbon tax, when he dropped it, which was again Pierre, but when he said, it's just too divisive. That is not holding yourself to account.
None of them do.
It drove inflation, which Pierre fucking said a million times.
So there's this weird, I remember somebody showed me a video of, I can't even remember what MP it was. He's an Ontario MP now. Paul Calandra. Anyway, He's an MPP. He's a minister. Mm-hmm. And somebody sent me a clip of this guy. He said something in the House of Commons when he was a member of Parliament. He was a member of Parliament, and then he went on to be an MPP, which is an MLA in Alberta.
MLA, yeah. Okay.
And so he said something in the House, and he had to get up the next day and like apologize. And he like did this profuse apology. Like if you can bring this up, I don't know if you edit these podcasts, but you have to see this. And so
oh yeah, we can put it in.
Okay, so he profusely apologizes for something that he said, and my jaw fell to the floor when I watched this because I was like, wow. Like nobody even answers a question in question period anymore. Like the accountability, like if I was to say one thing that is the erosion of trust in politics, trust in systems, trust in democracy, it is the leaders in this country, which have been the Liberals for the last 10 years, say one thing and do the opposite. And that is classic in all relationships. So if you and I are friends, Kevin, and we go out and I'm like, oh, I'll buy your beers tonight. And I'm like, we get there and I go, oh shit, I forgot my card. Can you grab it?
Alligator arms.
Okay, first time, you're like, oh, okay.
Sure.
Second time, third time, fourth time. And it's just like, the Liberals have done this so many times that the people have like, there is so much mistrust in the top that now it comes into you and me as people. So now I can't have dinner with my friends and my family because you're not on the same side as me. And if you're not on the same side as me, we're enemies. And so we don't even have civil discourse anymore because the leaders
what they pushed.
Well, they've taken zero accountability. None. So Mark Carney's going to tell you, you know what? Elbows up. Elbows up, man. Elbows up, which is, by the way, the dirtiest play in hockey. But anyway, I'm like, and now, so you want to believe him. Like, I know when I lost, I was like, okay, I lost. Like, man, prove me wrong.
Gotta take it on the chin.
Wrong. Yep. Prove me wrong, man.
Yeah, please do.
Do it. Like, prove me wrong that you are not another Trudeau, that you are not another Liberal, that you are not another wolf in sheep's clothing, that you are actually going to try to fix this country and make people's lives better. Because that is what your job is. And it is not to be a CEO. It is not to tell you what to do, how to think, and what to eat, and when to go, and where to go. Yeah. It is to serve you. Prove me wrong. Please, I will prove me wrong.
Yeah, because it'll just make Canada better and improve unity, and if they actually prove you wrong. I have my serious doubts.
Well, what have we seen already?
It's not a great start.
No budget.
The zero
same
budget.
Ministers.
Yeah. No mention of pipelines. Energy.
We won't even say those words.
No, they won't say them. That's why I don't believe it. And it's okay to push, carbon capture and all this stuff. It's great. It's already going on here. But we don't generate revenue from that stuff. It's like an R&D thing to better our practices. We're already there. They need to unleash that stuff. My concern now, as we're sitting here on our mic, because this is the new way of communicating, that they're going to come after this now. And Jasmine and I discussed it. I think we confused these acts too. C11, C18, C63.
So C63 is an omnibus bill that put two different things in place. It's a disaster of a bill that has really like some good pieces in it in terms of going after online predators, which needs to happen.
Sure. Yep.
But then there's all this censorship bullshit that's like, oh, you said something hateful to me, you're going to jail.
Yeah, well, that's happening in the UK.
What? Yeah. And then control the media, control the people. And then C11 and C18 are full-blown censorship. And I don't know if you've been following this Real Politics story.
Yes, I was going to mention it. Yeah, it just happened.
And listen, the people, all I can say, and I'm looking at time, mindful of it.
Yep.
I want to leave people with hope because I think it's really important because I think
Agreed.
it's like, yeah, okay, we have all this doom and gloom, but we don't actually. We have oil and gas. We have all the resources. We have all the things the world needs. The thing I want to leave people with, because it's like, oh, you're not a member of parliament anymore. And I get that like, oh, what are we going to do? And it's like, the people have and always will have more power than the people who sign those papers. And the minute you forget that, the minute that you lay down, the minute that you are busy, and they will distract you. They will distract you with suffering and trying to pay your bills because it's easier. And they will distract you with bills that are this complicated and procedure that's this complicated and boring. Oh my God. Like, and they will distract you. But all I can tell you is the people have the power and they dictate what they want. Be mindful of what you are consuming. Be mindful of what you are taking in and how it's making you feel. I don't know if you went and saw the last Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise.
I still haven't. No, I'm up to date on them all,
so,
but I love
like,
them. Is it incredible?
Well, it's pretty relevant.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you can give some away
There's
if
a
you
pretty
want.
relevant component to the AI and to the entity that is dividing people and taking over their mind. It's cyber warfare. It's not bullets and guns in the way that we used to know. And I think, before you turn on your neighbor, before you turn on each other, I think remember the ants and the grasshoppers in a bug's life. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
You don't realize, and people say, well, how do you even do this? Like, I'll take crime for an example. I'll give you some concrete little things.
Okay.
How do we change the crime? We'll start reporting it to the police. Those are little things because data drives change.
Yeah.
So if you have the hard numbers, like I had my car broken into the other night. I was like, who cares? And
Yeah,
it's like it was some stupid thing that got stolen. It was like, but the irony of me doing it after I'd said that we have more crime. And and they took my sweater. Like, whoopee-doo. Okay, what? Like, I don't care.
Big deal.
I've got bigger problems in the world and take my sweater if you need it, whatever. But, the police chief has a great point. He's like, Michelle, if you don't report that, I can't put it into the database. Then I can't go back to the city to say we have this much more crime.
Yeah, we need these stats.
The data drives the change.
Yeah.
So, okay, so every time I see something, I need to report it and I need to have it in writing. Okay, I learned this in my biology background. You don't write it down, it didn't happen. So if I start to see, I saw this in, Facebook and they're not showing this, right? You have to tell your MP and you have to kind of hound them. Like that's their job. And you have to tell your MLA or your MPP. And I know sometimes people are like, they don't ever get back to me. They don't do anything. Okay, but do you have a record of you reaching out to them?
Yeah, you have to do your part.
You do have to do your part.
Okay,
and I know that it's not easy. And I know it's a pain, but having civil discourse, fact-based conversations, I think I am telling you, the media has and always will be powerful, but the people have the power now because before the media was driven by you didn't get to decide what time or where or when you watched media. And there was only like 3 choices. Now you have all of this and it is hard and it is overwhelming and people don't know. They're like, what the hell do I believe anymore? And then you throw in AI and it's like, oh my God, I give up. I quit. I quit. I lay down and I die.
Yeah.
But you can't lay down and die. And I think the more you know, the better.
Yeah. 100%. Knowledge is power.
It is.
Got to have it.
And guess what? So if it's power, who doesn't want you to have it?
Yeah, very true. Leaders.
The people who want it.
The people who want it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes. Well, what's next for you? What is next for you?
Well,
outside of today, you're going to hit the mountains with the boy.
Yeah. So this was pretty cool. We were able to come to an Oilers game. I said, you have to embrace what the world gives you, right? I said, I was joking for 4 years. I was in Ottawa working God knows how many hours a day doing, whatever, because that's my personality. I love to work. I love it. I should have been a Clydesdale, I think. But, my kids didn't get mom for that time, right?
Sure.
And so now, right now, I was checking out at Costco and the lady goes, what's next for you now, hun? And I go, well, I'm going to do some laundry, and I'm probably going to cut my grass, and I'm going to hang out with my kids.
Be normal.
And she was like, good for you. Good for you. And so I think that's it. And I think it's everything I have. I'm very, 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 very grateful for the opportunity to be a member of Parliament. It's a once in a lifetime experience.
For sure.
But I also believe that I can have as good or greater impact no matter what I do.
Well, you have an important voice. You have a powerful one, not just a loud one.
What?
A good voice. You have a real big following because people believe in you, and I no doubt you're going to land. I'm actually excited for the next step for you, but definitely take the time and put it all together. It's not even been a whole month yet, so I look forward to seeing where you end up. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I would love to know what your end mission would be.
Sure.
With GND here. Like what?
I love it.
What
Yeah.
would you love to see happen?
Well, I do get asked that. First, I usually say I want to have a good enough show that people enjoy coming and watching. I don't care what the story's about. But embedded in my show, I'm going to hit people with facts and educate them on the good that the energy sector does. If I called myself an energy show, I'd have energy people watching my show. But I can show my bias. I am in the energy sector. I live it. I breathe it. I am here every day. So any chance I get, I will hammer facts and education, but without it being a LinkedIn webinar, right? But I've had lots of compelling stories. I've had ex-NHLers and Ken Reed, Sportsnet, just because we put us in a book. And I had my heart surgeon on here. It was a super cool conversation.
That's cool.
It was awesome. So we like to have great guests like yourself with a voice. And obviously my bias is I'm a conservative and I'm proud of it. And so I'll have a liberal on here if I have to. No, but I would. I would welcome anyone, anytime.
And I think actually that's what makes you a conservative.
True. Yeah, I'm open and willing to sit and talk to anybody for sure and not get pissed off.
It's actually, and I didn't, again, I was naive in the beginning. I just thought.
It exists.
Because I'm not a labels person. I hate them.
Me too.
I'm not I'm like, labels are for spice jars, right? And I think to say, oh, I'm liberal, I'm conservative, I even struggled with that in the beginning. And to be like, to fight was very hard for me. I know people like look at me and go, yeah, right. Like you're so, but I'm actually not naturally, I fight when somebody is doing something unjust. Like it's a natural reaction for me when somebody is not getting what they want.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what sets us apart. It's like, well, tell me why, like what's going on here? But I think I can't stress this enough to you, Kevin. And I actually told this to Pierre as well. The number one issue in this parliament and for Canada right now and for these next however long we're going to be in this session is energy. And this is it. And I think the lie that we were told that oil is bad and gas is bad and like what happened to acid rain? What happened to the hole in the ozone layer? What happened to all of these things? And I think people are finally like, and the Green Slush Fund is very critical to have this conversation. Yeah. When you tell me I'm a fake, I don't believe in climate change because I'm a conservative, but you're the one that spent $400 billion of taxpayer money to give to companies that did not one green initiative. And we haven't met one. And where are we in the world's emissions? Where's Canada?
We're at the bottom.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for reminding me.
1.5%.
So why wouldn't we actually produce the thing that would stop all these other countries from getting the energy from the highest polluters to help the overall world? Like
cuts them in half.
We could go on and on and on about this.
We can.
And I can't, I really believe that this is the issue of our time because it will solidify our economy. It will give us that independence. It will give us our defense.
Yep.
And ultimately, it gives you the autonomy at home to be free, to know that my bills are paid for, that I can care for my children, for my partner, and I can be a present, better human.
Yeah, and it funds all those social programs, healthcare. It funds everything. Yeah, we do. People need to talk about it more often, and that's my mission. Like I said,
Keep going.
in here, and I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to leave with one thought as well. There was one when I really wanted to headbutt the wall. Outside of them calling our MPs, you're willing to let the planet burn. You know, that was the carbon tax time. You're going to let the country burn. Oh, don't even get me started on that. But when during the election, remember when Trudeau had rocks thrown at him in gravel, like one of many stops, but somebody threw some rocks. Pierre asked the right question. He said, we should be asking why people are mad. And Justin's response to that, his counter that was, people are anxious from climate change. And I wanted to fucking jump through the wall. And I said, no, I'm getting on the mic. I need to stop this division. People need to understand that our industry is good. We need to celebrate the good men and women of the industry and let's everybody reap the rewards while we're already leading on the emissions, if emissions are even a factor, which I'm going to dive into for sure. That's it.
You're it. And you know what? If you don't talk.
Yeah, if you don't.
And they will try to shut you up.
I know it's coming.
They will try to shut you up. They did it to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I joke. I'm like, my trolls, they think they got me out of a role. I'm like, all they did was just wind me up even more.
Yeah, they're just...
Because now I have less handcuffs on me.
That's right.
Now I'm even like, woo!
Yeah, you're a free bird.
So I think it's, you know, I just can't stress this enough.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who has been told my whole life to shut up or been pushed back, like it's one or the other, right? People either like, I love you, I hate you. There's no real in between. The very thing that irritates them is the very thing that needs to happen. And I can't stress this enough for you, Kevin, in this podcast. Mm-hmm. Thank you for what you're doing. It's why I love what you do. People need to understand the nuts and bolts of energy and oil and gas and what it actually is. And I'll never forget, I don't know if you can pull it up. I didn't know what a pipeline was my whole life. I remember driving down the road.
That's how it is.
And I was like, that's a pipeline? That's it? That's what we're fighting over? Yeah. And because it was this demonized thing. And I guess the question I leave everybody with, always ask why. But if you think something is really, really, really bad, do you know the reason why you think it's really, really bad?
Yeah, or are you just regurgitating what you've been told? So true. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to get out here and see it in oil country. Go Oilers. I'm cheering for the Oilers too. And
Corey Perry from Peterborough. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, another Peterborough Pete.
Hello, everything comes back to Peterborough.
Every time. All right.
Kevin Bacon of Canada.
Okay, Michelle. Awesome.
Thanks.